Hello guys, welcome once more to Class Online. My name is Tutor Dami, and in this edition we shall be looking at JAMB Physics 2013 question number 46 to 50, and we shall be closing this edition in this series. In this edition we shall be treating very sensitive aspects of physics that quite a lot of students find difficult, and we shall be treating it in a way that you will understand and you cease to find difficult. Don't forget that if you learn something from this series, click on like button. We have lots of content to send to you that will better help you to understand physics. Now, question number 46 says, calculate the energy of the third level of an atom if the ground state energy is minus 24.8 eV. Now, if the ground energy is minus 24.8, okay, what will now be? We have the first level, second ionization level, and third ionization level. Now, what will be the third? Do you have any idea how to go about solving this? Now, what you have to do is very simple. Just say the third level is therefore E naught over 3 raised to power 2. That is, the level is 3, and that 2 is a constant that must be there in any level. If it were a second level, I would do E naught, that's the ground level. E naught means ground level over 2 raised to power 2. That's for second level. But it comes a third level, so I will do 3 raised to power 2. Okay, and that's what I will do here. So that means minus 24.9 over 3 raised to power 2 is minus 24.9 divided by 9, and that will give me minus 2.75, and that is the answer for the third level. The third level of an atom, the energy of a third level of an atom coming from the ground state, and that is the answer to that question. It's very simple, right? Now, number 47 says, in photo emission, the number of photo electrons elected per second. Okay, that sound like it should not be elected, should be released per second. Depend on what? Now, we have learned about photo emission, right? That photoelectric effect where electrons are released when light shine on a metallic plate. Now, when light shine on a metallic plate, it releases electron, and that's the principle for solar panels. When the sun ray charge and shine on the panel, on the solar panel, it releases what? Electrons, right? And that electron is stored in your battery and used to power your house. And that's how solar panel works. It works by the principle of photo emission. Now, but what is it that affects? What is the factor that tells the amount of photo electrons that will be released per second? Is it the frequency of the beam, or the work function of the metal, or the threshold frequency of the metal, or the intensity of the beam? Do you have any idea? Now, the simple answer to that question is the threshold frequency is defined as the maximum frequency of incident radiation below which the photoelectric emission is not possible completely. Now, photoelectric emission, there will be no electron release or emission if the threshold frequency is not exceeded. So the amount of emission that will be given out per second has to do with how much the light has overcome or beaten the threshold frequency. There's a level called the threshold frequency. So if there's an emission and the emission on the metal did not surpass the threshold frequency, if the emission on the metal did not surpass the threshold frequency, there will be no emission. Okay, so the threshold frequency must be overcome before there can be a release, okay, of electron, and that is the answer. So the factor that affects the release of electron is the threshold frequency. That is just it, period. So the answer is just the threshold frequency of the metal, and that is the answer for number 47. Let's check out number 48 now. The particle nature of matter is demonstrated by the what? Is it the photoelectric effect, the speed of light, the color of light, the diffraction of light? Which one do you think is correct? Which one shows that light contains particles? Do you have any idea? Now, the simple answer to that question is just the photoelectric effect. Now, you can see, now you might be wondering, why did I put this picture here? Now, this is an automatic door. The door noticed are coming and open by the principle of photo emission. Now, photoelectric effect says that metals release electrons, and those electrons are the ones that open the door. Now, but electron can't open door if it is a wave. it has to behave as a particle to open a door. What I'm saying is that, this question says which of the options shows that light is a particle. Now, light has dual behavior. Light can behave as a wave, and light can behave as a particle. Light is dual. That means light has dual property. It can behave as a wave or as a particle. Now, light behaving as a particle is explained by one of these options, and that is the photoelectric effect. Because the photoelectric effect says that when light shines on a metal, it will release electron, and in this case, the automatic door opens because of the release of electron from light-sensitive metals, and that is the way it works. When light shines on the metals that are light sensitive, they will send out electrons, and there will be electric current flowing through this door, and the door will open. So it shows that light behaves as a particle, and the answer to that question is just the photoelectric effect. It is the only one that demonstrates that light behaves as a particle. It is the only one among the options that demonstrates that light behaves as a particle, and that is the answer for number 48. Now let's check out number 49 now. The energy of a photon having a wavelength of 10 meter 10 raised to power minus 10 meter, that should be meter per second, is what? Okay, oh sorry, that is meter because it is wavelength. 10 raised to power minus 10 meter is what? Now, how do we find the energy of a photon? Photon is just like light. You know, the word photo is light, and photon means packets of light moving. Package, light traveling in package, and that's what we call quanta. Okay, now the energy of a photon, how do we find the energy of a photon? The formula to it is very simple. It is just Fh, and where my F is what? What's my F? My F is Planck, is frequency. Sorry, my F is frequency, and my H is Planck constant. Now, Planck constant is given to us in the question. H equals 6.63 times 10 to the power minus 34 joule per second. Then C is that speed of light is 3 times 10 to the power minus 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Okay. Now, for anything energy that is an atom, atomic or electron energy, like light is an atom. It is tiny, right? So light travels. Light is a wave. Anything wave-like, the energy of anything wave-like is given by the formula E equals Fh, where F is frequency and H is Planck constant. Okay, now, but this question does not have frequency. This question only has wavelength and it has speed of light. Okay, so I have to change frequency into speed and wavelength. And the only thing that can combine F that can make it to become speed is this formula, speed of wave, V equals F lambda. Okay, where F is my V over lambda. Okay, so F equals V over lambda from this formula. F equals V over lambda. Now substitute these two for F in this equation. That will become, E will now become V over lambda over H, because F is this. So change F here for V over lambda, and that's V over lambda times H, right? Now what is my V? V is the speed of light, and that is 3 times 10 to the power 8. It is already given to you in the question. You don't have to cram it. 3 times 10 to the power 8. Then my lambda or my wavelength in the question is 10 to the power minus 10. Okay. Then my Planck constant is 6.63 times 10 to the power minus 34, and that is what I have here. Then the 10 to the power minus 10 will go up and become 3 times 10 to the power 8 times 10 to the power 10, because when it goes up from minus, it will become plus. That will become 3 times 10 to the power 8 times 10 to the power 10 times 6.63 times 10 to the power minus 34. Then I will multiply the number. That will become 3 times number to number. But first, I first of all fuse these two. These two 10 to the power 8 and 10 to the power 10. That will be 10 to the power 18. And that's what I have here. Everything is here the same way, except for these two that I fused to 10 to the power 18. And that will give me, bring the number to number, 3 and 6.63. And that will give me 3 times 6.63, that's 19.89. Then times 10 to the power 8 minus 34. And that will become 10 to the power minus 16. And that's what I have there. Then put it in standard form. That will become, move this point from here this way. That's standard form. 1.98 times 10 to the power, instead of 16, it will become minus 15. And that is what you have. But if you simplify it for that, it can be simplified into, if you round it up to one whole number, that will become 2 times 10 to the power minus 5. So I had to round it up to 2, because 9 will round up to 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 times 10 to the power minus 5 joule, and that is the answer to that question. So that's how to find the energy of a photon. Please notice the formula. It is under atomic physics. E equals FH, and F can be V over lambda. Okay, so that can be modified in any way. But don't forget that Planck constant will be given to you, and that is the question, the answer for number 49. Let's check out number 50 now. The bond between silicon and germanium is what? What kind of bond is that? Is it dative bond, covalent bond, trivalent bond, ionic bond? Now the simple answer to that question is just what? Now you can see that this is silicon. It has 14 protons and 14 electrons. Then this is germanium. It has 32 electrons. What is going to happen here is that since silicon is made up of 14 and germanium is made up of 32, the two are going to share. If they share electrons, that means this silicon need 4 more to become complete, because in the outer shell it can have a maximum of 8. So silicon is looking for 4, while germanium has 4 and is also looking for 4 to be complete. So every shell outside the first shell, every other shell will be completed by 8 electrons. So this is looking for 4 more. This is looking for 4 more, and that is what and to be able to complete this now, I have to share the electron. So I will share this electron between them. So and whenever there is whenever there's a sharing of electron, that bond is called a covalent bond. And don't forget that ionic bond has to do with transfer of electron. But if the two of them are sharing, that will become a covalent bond. So that if they share, that means that germanium will now have 8 and silicon will have it. That means they are sharing the 4 between themselves, and they will now bond that way. And whenever electrons are shared, it is a covalent bond, and that is the answer to number 50. And that brings us to the end of this series. If you learned something from this series and you want to get more content from us, click on the like button. We have a lot of content to share with you that will better help you understand physics. Until we see you guys, take care of yourself and bye for now.